They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
News for the presidential campaign of 2016. Donald Trump has taken over the GOP, but our question is why? He insults people and mentions others who aren't even in the debates.
I will say it is fairly remarkable to see Donald defending Ben after he called him pathological and compared him to a child molester, both of which were offensive and wrong.
I am sick and tired of him going after my family. My dad is the greatest man alive in my mind.
He also wants to spend our money for immigration problems when most of his family are immigrants.
How would you do the logistics, okay? How do you take 11 million people and make them leave?
Fine, you'll do it. It's all a package. Number one, we're going to build a wall.
We caught up with a few people who would rather distance themselves from Trump and vote for another candidate. Here's what they had to say.
Here's Mr. Higgins, who made it clear he isn't voting for Donald Trump. So, Mr. Higgins, who are you going to vote for the 2016 presidential candidates?
You know, that's a good question. I will say that I'm kind of in tune with what's going on. I watch the news. I watch CNN. I really love CNN. And right now I'm just kind of in the early stages of just figuring out all the candidates, what their message is, what their platforms are. I have not made up my mind yet. Right now, I do know that Donald Trump is kind of like the front runner for the GOP side, and that I think Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are kind of like running neck and neck. I do know, I can say that perhaps I will not vote for a particular individual, and that's Donald Trump. I'm just not pretty much accepting a lot of what he has to say. I know he's popular and he speaks his mind, which, in many respects is a good thing, I guess, but still, just for that presidential piece, I just can't really go with him in that area. But I'm still in the kind of like the determining stage. I haven't made up my mind yet.
Is there anything that you like about Hillary or Sanders?
I don't know a lot about Bernie Sanders. I'm interested to hear what he has to say, though, because he's definitely has kind of, given Hillary a run for her money. I do like Hillary's experience, though. She's an experienced politician. She served as our Secretary of State. So I like the fact that she's well-versed on foreign affairs. If I was leaning towards any candidate right now, it probably would be Hillary Clinton. But still, it's early. I do want to hear what Bernie Sanders has to say before I make up my mind.
Do you think this is because of his party identification?
Yes, because it appears that they share the same views and are from the same party identification. Now, here's Mr. Garcia, who was my favorite person to interview. He shared different views on who he is voting for. So, Ms. Garcia, who are you going to vote for the presidential candidates?
I don't think I am 100% ready to make my selection yet, but it's going to be either between Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton.
And why is that?
Because my personal and political views align more with that party, and I'm more of a socially progressive person. I'm actually very, very socially progressive, so my first choice would be Bernie Sanders, but depending on how things go in the primaries, I may have to vote for Hillary Clinton. But my first choice is Bernie Sanders. I'm feeling the burn. I went to the Bernie Sanders rally, the first one in LA, and I was very inspired by his message and by the energy, so I believe in him.
Like, what did he say that you liked?
I just think he's very, he's aware of a lot of the problems that our country has, and I think he's got an approach to fixing problems that will benefit more people rather than benefit fewer people.
We think he's leaning towards Sanders because of his characteristics.
Yes, because Mr. Garcia favors him for his good approach and lovely energy. Now, here's Mr. Unger, who is also going for Bernie Sanders, and it appears that he too favors him because of his party identification. Mr. Unger, who are you going to vote for the 2016 presidential candidates?
Well, at the moment, I'm not quite decided. I like Bernie Sanders, I think he wants to do a lot of things to change some big flaws in America. But at the same time, I also like Marco Rubio. His stance on sort of foreign policy and immigration is something that I'm a little bit more in tune with. So if I could kind of mix them together, then I would be very happy with that. But I mostly side with Bernie Sanders. Well, Bernie Sanders, to me, he wants to make big reforms to the way that business is done in America. I think the business system, our economic system, is very corrupt, and there needs to be a lot of reform. So that's a huge plus for me. And also campaign finance reform, just the way that we run elections and how we do things to elect people. That's a big, big issue for me as well.
Now here's Mr. Bakay, who is also going for Rubio. And it appears too that he is favoring him because of his party identification. All these people are voting for these candidates because of their party identification. Is that even a good voting process? Mr. Bakay, who are you going to vote for the 2016 presidential candidates?
Okay. My politics. I am a conservative. I believe in small government. I believe in a strong role for the U.S. in the world in helps of protecting this world. I am for inclusion. I am a moderate socially. So for those reasons, I am voting for Marco Rubio once he wins the nomination.
Mr. Bakay seemed very sure he is going for Rubio, just like Mr. Eels with Hillary, who was confused as to who were the important candidates when asked who he is voting for. So, Mr. Eels, who are you going to vote for?
Who am I going to vote for in what?
Candidates, I guess.
Oh, candidates?
Candidates.
Is this for the Board of Education, or what's this? What the candidates for?
2016 presidential election. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. There's candidates that are running for the presidential election. That is right. Okay. I was a little confused when we first started, so I just want to make sure that I'm on top of things so that I don't nominate somebody that's not appropriate. I would probably vote for, well, let's see. I think I'd probably vote for Hillary Clinton.
And why is that?
I think I'd vote for Hillary. Well, that's a great question, actually. That's a good follow-up. But I think I would vote for Hillary because, well, for one, Hillary Clinton says that she will raise pay. That's always a good thing in jobs. You'll realize that when you guys get a little older. And create good-paying jobs. It's huge. It's huge. Another thing that she says that she'll do is cut taxes for middle class. Well, I think I kind of fall in that area, so that sounds pretty enticing for me. I kind of like that. It benefits me. And she will raise minimum wage. So that's pretty good for you guys that are going out in the workforce here soon. And finally, probably the most important thing with the job that I serve in, working with all of you, is that she states she'll invest in education. She doesn't state exactly how much. There are other candidates that are putting dollar signs out there, but she just says she'll invest in education. And that's huge. We know education is our future.
Yeah, he seems to lean towards his income, occupation, and education.
Well, yes, all he really wants is just the money.
You'll realize that when you guys get a little older.
Well, that was very interesting. But we're done for right now, folks. So we'll see you at 11 o'clock tonight. Stay tuned.
When you say things like that.
Well, you can't, again, Gail, if the question is how can you become president, you can't by saying things like that.